Hi, Leo Dreger here. In this lab, I want to talk to you about a really cool tool called urlsnarf. urlsnarf is a tool that basically sniffs URLs from the computer or interface that you're monitoring from. So it's a pretty cool sniffing tool. So I'm going to open up the Kali VM, open up a terminal, and type in the manual for urlsnarf. Okay. And basically, we'll just do a quick overview and then we'll use it. So urlsnarf sniffs HTTP requests in common log format. Common log format is basically the type of log format that any web server would log its request to. And you can see the syntax here. Use the urlsnarf with a -n, which is do not resolve IP addresses to host names. You can leave this or not leave this. If you just want to work from the IP addresses versus the actual names, then you can change that accordingly. You can specify a specific interface, or you can, if you've already got the traffic captured, like if you are capturing something in Wireshark, you can use a PCAP file as the input. Then you have V, and then you can actually incorporate TCP dump patterns and expressions in this as well. To use this, it's relatively simple. All you basically do is type in urlsnarf. Since I don't have a particular interface to use, or I'm not reading from a file, I can basically just set it right here, and it'll basically say it's listening on the default port Ethernet interface for port 80 or 8080 type traffic. So then I'm just basically going to go browse the internet and capture this traffic. Now, just to be a little bit more clear, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dump the output here to urlsnarf.pcap file and capture it there. So not only do I get it on the terminal, I also capture it to a file. The reason why I'm going to do this is because I'm actually going to use another tool called www.stat, or World Wide Web Statistics, to basically analyze this file. So we're going to go generate some traffic here. We're just going to go up to www.leodreger.com just to see a website, pop open. www.cybrary.it. And let each one of these load. www.google.com. And let's try CNN as well. Okay, now I've done basically is just generated some URLs to prove that we're sniffing here. So now that that's done, I can go ahead and basically stop my sniff, less the file, okay, and basically I can see some stuff in here. Now, the challenge at this point is basically going to be to get this into a universal format. So it's just not real easy to read. Just to kind of show you what just one entry looks like, that's all one entry. So it's got the source address, the date and the timestamp, the GET request, which is a component of HTTP, GET versus POST, the actual URL that you went through, and you can see it's a WordPress site. It hits the cascading style sheet for this particular entry. It's using HTTP version 1.1. I'm coming from a Mozilla.5 browser, so it thinks anyway, which is on a Linux system, etc., etc., specifically the Iceweasel browser. So not too interesting. I mean, I certainly could grep this file and start digging through it and try to find different trends and patterns, but it's just not in a nicer format. So what I'm going to do is just exit out of there, and you will have to install the www.stat. So I'll just run you through the install. I already have it installed, but nonetheless, I'll just show you. It's apt-get install www.stat. Okay, and basically it's going to say 0 upgraded, 0 newly installed, because I already have the latest and greatest version. All you would have to do is basically run through the install. If you type in apt-get space install space www.stat, click yes. It only takes a second for it to install, and then you can just simply run the command. So just to give you an idea, let's look at the manual for www.stat. And the things that I do here to demonstrate for you, this is basically what I would do if I was trying to learn a tool for the first time. So, one thing is to install the tool. The second is to look at the help file and to get a better idea of how the syntax is laid out by looking at the help file or the man file and then trying a couple different instances of it. So here I'll just go in and basically it summarizes www server access statistics, okay, and it reads a sequence of HTTPD, common log file formats, access log files, etc., etc. And you can read this if you want. I just want to show you. You can specify things like dates and URLs, and you can do output in a table format, which basically is the request, the number of bytes sent and received, the request, and sometimes the category name if that gets enumerated. You can also set the configuration options up in particular file names if you like as well, if you want to get crazy with this. And then it's got quite a few options in here about, resolving, caching, don't get the files, don't worry about CGI or do worry about it. The time in which you want these things to get statistics for, daily, hourly, by its particular domain. If you want to sort or not, sort by bytes or the number, the volume of the key hitting traffic. So sort's a particular useful function and things like that. Now that we've kind of get the basics idea of this, I just want to do a www stat to the URL pcap file from earlier and just run through this. And it looks like I got just enough information here. So www statistics, it says World Wide Web access statistics for, a title, a couple hrefs in here. And then we're going to scroll down to basically we get to my traffic here, and you can see the request, the byte, the format in which it's displayed in. You can see some of the Google traffic that we enumerated, the statistics, the pulling of the different Gravatar images, more Facebook traffic, Cyber Area IT. You can see that that's a WordPress site, and it's got plugins, and you can actually enumerate some of the specific plugins that it pulled in a reference just by naming convention. So that's a little bit of a tell there. You can see the leodreger.com. That's also a WordPress site, and some of the plugins as well. And it gives you a much nicer, cleaner format of the information as the files go to and from the server. So if you want, you can set up this type of tool when any sort of sniffing port or span port or network tap, set it to run, capture the interface that gets duplicated to your span port or something like that, and then basically just start logging traffic. Once you capture the traffic in a particular log format, then you can twist it and modify it and sort it and grep it and really look for all sorts of trends and statistics and patterns, and sort by top IPs and things like that. But it's relatively easy to set it up and use it and generate some basic content like we did here. But as you can imagine, in an enterprise situation, a tool like this for the attacker could do a lot of harm, because you can basically enumerate the surfing habits of the user base. Or from a forensics point of view, you can also use this tool to basically set up like a log collecting or some sort of URL analysis tool, because it's pretty powerful in what it collects, but also easy enough in terms of its configuration to really just capture the information that you need. So that's it on urlsnarf and www.stat, which is a statistics analyzer for web tools. So you get two tools in one in this lab from both the offense and the defensive point of views. So that's going to cover it for Cyber Area IT. My name is Leo Dreger. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter.